to say we listen and we don't judge.
Oh, no, we finna judge.
I feel a hand sliding up my thigh. So I grabbed his wrist, I backed up, and I asked him, "What are you doing?"
Damn. Hey, welcome back, Motivation Nation. It's your host, Al Gordon. Listen, today's video is going to be a little crazy. Oh, boy, like it with a little funk on it. But look, let me let her get into this, and then we're going to do our reaction.
I didn't even realize we were on a date until the date was almost completely over. But before I get into this story, I would like to say we listen and we don't judge.
Oh, no, we finna judge.
Without saying too much, me and this guy were kind of like childhood friends. We've known each other for more than 20 years, but over the years, we've lost touch. We still follow each other on social media. We might leave a comment here or there, but that's pretty much the extent of it. So one random day, he sends me a DM and he says that we should get dinner or lunch so we can catch up. Then he sends me his phone number. And I did see the message, but I was doing something at the time, so it kind of slipped my mind, and I didn't message him back, and I forgot to save the number. So maybe a week later, I get a random text message that says, "What's up, Kyla?" with no other context. And I'm thinking, I haven't given anyone my phone number, so I have to reverse search this number, and it comes up his name. So I text him back, and I'm like, "Lewis," that's not his name, but "Lewis, is that you?" And he was just like, "Yeah, turns out I still had your number in my phone from well over 10 years ago." So we ended up having a really brief conversation. It was just about what made him think about me after all these years, for one, and then what we were doing during the day. But I was at work at the time, so the conversation ended there, and then I kind of just forgot about it. So maybe a week later, he did reach back out to me, and we decided to finalize the plans. And then we had another short conversation after that, and that was pretty much it. So the day comes, we go to like a bar and grill, and initially we're doing what normal friends would do. We reminisced about the past, we talked about what's been going on in life, we caught each other up on what we're doing now, and then I actually start talking about my dating life, and he asked me a question that's actually important to this story. He asked me, what has been the most difficult part of dating? And I said that even though I've told all of these crazy dating stories, it really hasn't been that bad. The worst part is that a lot of men are hypersexual. And then he starts to ask me questions that guys would normally ask me if we were on a date. He's asking about whether I want kids, my conflict resolution style, love languages, where I plan on settling down. And because I'm still under the impression that we're just catching up, it doesn't occur to me that he's not just asking this out of genuine curiosity. But while he's asking these questions, I'm actually rejecting him without even realizing it. For example, I told him that I prefer not to date men with children, which he has, and I told him that I don't date men who smoke, which he does. So he tells me that he's actually trying to give up smoking, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's good for you. And then he asked me, would I ever date a guy who did have kids? And I'm just like, I mean, eventually I'll have to, because it's not like I'm a spring chicken. But for now, while I have the option, I would prefer not to. Again, not realizing he's not asking for a friend. And for most of you, these are probably very obvious signs. But yes. I'm a very literal person. So he says to me,
I want to be honest with you. I've actually been talking to someone else.
Somebody else? Sir, when did we start talking?
It's been you and this other woman that I've been talking to for a few weeks.
Our text thread is shorter than the recipe for oatmeal.
But if I'm being honest, it's always been you. I choose you.
Choose anyone else. Choose Jesus. Choose Pikachu. Choose your own self. You might be better off choosing yourself. But I didn't even know I was on the market until this very second. So I'm just going to take myself back off because that's not an option. But it caught me by surprise, so I didn't really know how to break it to him in that moment. But I did let him know that I didn't think that he was in a position to be dating. But I also think my body rejects the notion.
Hold on, let me stop her right there. What do you mean you didn't know how to tell him in that moment? Ma'am, if you're not interested in him, let him know that right away, because now we're going into leading him on territory. Okay, I get it. You know, he's turned a meetup into a date that you don't think is a date. Okay, maybe. But he's saying y'all been talking for a few weeks, and you saying you guys, I guess, have only been talking through text message, and it's shorter than the recipe for oatmeal. Is what you just said. Well, maybe you should have actually been talking to him on the phone versus just texting him, so you would know what his intentions are, because something is telling me that this story is going to take a turn for the worse. But let me let you finish. But no, I don't agree with that. As far as I don't want to tell him in that moment, hey, young ladies, tell the guy in that moment exactly what it is that you feel and that you don't think that this is a situation that you want to be in as far as a relationship. Okay, just letting you know. But let me let her go on.
Anything that is not for me, because in that same moment, I ended up getting the BG so bad that I started sweating. And I told him that I was lactose intolerant, so he went ahead and he got the check. We went outside, we ended up saying our goodbyes, and I told him that I was going to go back in and use the bathroom really quick. And excuse my French, I know this is not ladylike, but there was nothing quick about that. I turned that bathroom every which way but loose.
There is a thing as far as oversharing goes. And I think that we've entered the oversharing territory.
All right, guess who's still there? I'm just like, what's up? And he shows me a playlist on his phone. And we talked about music earlier, so I thought he was trying to put me on to some music. So I was like, all right, send it to me. And he was like, no, look at it. And I look at it, I scroll up, send it to me. And he says it's an in the car chill mix. And I was like, all right, well, I'll listen to it in the car while I'm chilling on the way home. Send it to me. So clearly I'm still not taking the hint. And he finally says, I thought we could chill in the car and continue our conversation. Mm-hmm. We listen and we don't judge.
We judge
in the car,
what?
We're listening to music, and we're telling each other funny stories. I start talking about how much I like bowling, and then that reminds me of a funny story that I had on a date where I was bowling. So I was telling him the story, and I see that he starts leaning in. I assumed that he couldn't hear me, so I start talking louder. I noticed that he is still leaning in. So I actually turned to him and let him know that if he can't hear me, he could just turn the music down. He told me he could hear me. So I continue on with the story, and he says, so you're not going to lean in? I'm like, for what? And then finally, because obviously I'm still not catching the hint, he asked me if he could kiss me. We listen, and we don't judge. We're already here now. What's the worst that could happen? So I lean in, and we kissed. And while we...
Ma'am, you are a willing participant at this point. No. We're listening and we're judging here. You can't sit here and pretend as though you were this uninterested in a man and now you're kissing him. What, is it peer pressure? Ma'am, if you're this weak, then you don't need to be going out with anyone. If it's this easy to pressure you into doing something like this. Now you're kissing a man that you have already went down a plethora of reasons why this isn't somebody that you're willing to date. But now you're kissing him while you guys are listening to that romantic music in the car. Ma'am, you wasn't even much supposed to be in there. You're not even much supposed to be in the car right now. You supposed to be headed home. Anyway, let me let her finish.
Kissing. I feel a hand sliding up my thigh.
Whoa. Hold on. Let's back that up.
In the hand, he asked me if he could kiss me. We listen and we don't judge. We're already here now. What's the worst that could happen? So I lean in and we kissed. And while we were kissing, I feel a hand sliding up my thigh. So I grabbed his wrist, I backed up, and I asked him, what are you doing? He says to me with a straight face, I'm trying to hold you like a bowling ball. And not only am I disappointed because I just told him in the restaurant what my biggest issue in dating was, but also he knows what I just did in that bathroom, and you want to put your hand where?
That man is filthy and disgusting, okay? But he said he like it with a little funk on it, right? He like his bowling ball funky. But the fact that you are there with him at this point, let me let you finish. Let me let you finish this.
Get out. But you know what? That's what I did, because I had not one, not two, not three, but 4 chances to get out of this situation, and instead I decided to see it through. But now I know. And I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, I would like to say that I do apologize for giving you the wrong impression. But I also want to say that is a wildly disrespectful way to conduct yourself with a friend or on a first date, period, point blank. So for that reason, we will never see each other again. I didn't even realize we were on a date until...
But you didn't let us know if you let him... Anyway, hey, listen, I'm not even going to take it there. Y'all heard what I heard. Y'all heard the same story I heard. It's funny to me. You were peer pressured into everything. Then he said, let me grip you like a bowling ball. And if you ever bowled, you can imagine what he was leaning towards. But she cut the story off there. So I don't know what took place, man. I don't know what happened here. Y'all let me know what y'all. I'm not even gonna go no further with this one. All I'm gonna say is this, right? Because I always try to put a little bit of teachable moments in here for the younger ladies out there that may need a little bit of guidance. Listen, if you're on a date with a guy that you're not interested in, first things first, especially if he approaches you in the way that this guy approached her, and you do decide to go out with him, make sure that you set your expectations and your standards up front with this guy. Make sure you have some conversations with him before you actually go on the date so you know which direction he's coming from. But if you do find yourself in her position and in her situation, do not allow yourself to be pressured into getting in the car with a guy you're not really that interested in or don't like. Secondly, allowing him to pressure you into kissing you. And thirdly, allowing him to um, put his hand up your thigh to grab you like a bowling ball, because all of this could have been avoided a long time ago. But at least she does have the wherewithal to understand that she put herself in that position. And hopefully she's learned from this. But listen, don't put yourself in that position because you don't know what's on somebody's mind, man. But anyway, y'all saw what I saw. You heard what I heard. It's time for y'all to jump down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this. But that's it for this video, guys. I will see you on the next one. I'm out.